the economy seems to be, the people we're talking to are really not having huge, serious affordability problems. There's a lot of talking heads, a lot of squawking about that, but most of that's political.
All about the messaging when it comes to the economy. GOP lawmakers and the president hitting back against Democrats, they say, are trying to erase the record high inflation and economic mess left behind by the Biden administration. A lot happening on the economic front today, including an interest rate drop that's expected when the Federal Reserve meets today. Former Trump White House economic advisor Steve Moore joining us right now to talk more about this. Steve, good morning to you. Always great to have you with us. Inflation stabilizing, gas prices the lowest they've been in 5 years. We got new tax cuts coming next year, so we're finally getting some relief after 4 years of runaway Biden inflation, which, by the way, was at 9.1% at the highest. But there seems to be, as Dave Ramsey has said, a lot of squawking at so-called affordability problems. How important is the messaging of this leading up to the midterms?
You know, it's interesting because Trump gave a interview a few days ago, and the interviewer asked him, what grade would you give the economy? And he said A+++. And look, if you ask me, Jan, I would say I'd give it an A-. It's a strong economy. We have 7 million open jobs. Inflation is coming down. People's 401k plans have dramatically increased because of the stock market boom. Gasoline is now $2 a gallon in some states and below $3 a gallon in most states. So that's been a huge improvement. But, you know, I would give the Republicans about a grade of a D in terms of communicating this to the American people,
right?
Because there's, you know, if you look at the polls, you looked at them, Jan, people are angry about beef prices and healthcare prices. And Trump has to remind people, well, yeah, you should be angry because we saw these huge increases under Biden. 90% of the increase in the prices happened under Biden, not Trump.
Yeah, and they're expecting something like that. They're expecting it to come down that fast because you heard like Democrat Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania talk about these farmers who were upset. These farmers just got billions of dollars in subsidies from the administration. So we know that there is still some residual from the previous administration, and that Trump has done a lot already to try and reverse some of what happened during the Biden administration. The big question, though, is how is this messaging going to be moving forward? And of course, will we see an interest rate cut today? Yep. And will that translate to a drop in mortgage prices and mortgage rates?
Well, first of all, if you just look at the objective evidence on affordability, just the official statistics, the average family just this year has had about a $1,200 real increase. That's after inflation increase in their income. So objectively, people have more affordability, not less. But people tend to psychologically focus on the things that are going up in price, not the things that are going down in price. And so I think that explains a little bit of it. Yes, Jan, we will get a rate cut today. I would say that with about 90% certainty. I think it'll be a 0.25 percentage point reduction in the interest rates by the Fed. It'll provide a little bit of a boost in the economy. It'll help a little bit. We want to make sure that we don't cause any more inflation like we had under Biden. So I think that's the right call today, a 0.25 point reduction in the interest rates, and that announcement will be made this afternoon.
Yeah, this could certainly help the housing market and help with working families. Speaking of which, I read your piece in the Wall Street Journal that you had with Arthur Laffer about a way to use the tariff revenue. You've been advocating for this temporary 5-point cut to the, the 15.3% payroll tax. I saw your reasoning here because that would give every worker an immediate raise and help bring down prices. So walk us through why a payroll tax cut boosts the supply side of the economy and helps working Americans more than just handing out, a stimulus check for $2,000 like the past administrations have done.
Well, a couple points on this tax issue. Number one, I get, I'll be walking down the street, people come up to me and they say, hey, I'm not feeling the effect of the Trump tax cut, the big, beautiful bill. And I want to remind your viewers, Jan, that really starts to kick in January. In a few weeks, people will see the no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. All those things start on January 1st. Furthermore, if you look at your paycheck, people will have less tax withheld from their paycheck starting in January. So my point is, you haven't felt the effect of the tax cut yet because it hasn't taken effect. It starts in January. But then in addition to that, Art Laffer and I recommended that we take the revenues, hundreds of billions of dollars of revenues that have been raised from the tariffs, and use that to reduce the payroll tax. You explained it well, Jan. That would give incentives for employers to hire more workers because the cost of hiring a worker would be cut, but also it would give an incentive for workers to work more because they'd be getting a raise. So that would be a smart way to provide some additional juice to the economy. And we've talked to Trump about it, and he's very open-minded to it.
And finally, we got to talk about this massive Obamacare fraud. $21 billion in subsidies going to applicants whose Social Security numbers didn't even match IRS records. I mean, we had all these fake identities. What reforms are needed to stop this avalanche of fraud?
Hundreds of billions of fraud. You know, it's unbelievable. And by the way, the blue states, like Illinois and New York and New Jersey, they're refusing to comply. So what Trump has said is, you know, you've got to show us your records that these people are getting food stamps and Medicaid, are actually eligible for the program. 21 states have refused to comply. We could save hundreds of billions of dollars if we just made sure that the people who are signing up for food stamps and Medicaid are actually eligible for the program. But for some reason, a lot of these governors don't want to comply because they view it as just free federal money coming into their state. We have got to clean up these programs. We're running a $2 trillion annual deficit. We can't have hundreds of billions, not millions, hundreds of billions of fraud, Jan.
I'll tell you what, a lot more to talk about this, and I probably won't see you until the new year. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you, sir. Great to have you on, as always. Look forward to
I'm sure we'll be talking before then.
A lot. Okay. Former White House Economic Advisor Steve Moore. Great to have you.
Thank you.
Following President Trump's address on his economic wins, GOP Congress members are hitting their districts hard to show how far the economy has come from the days of Biden's record inflation, sky-high prices, and high interest rates. And that includes Florida Congressman Randy Fine, who's going to be speaking to voters at an online town hall event tonight. And he joins us this morning. Good morning to you, Congressman. Welcome back here to the National News Desk. How are you going to showcase Trump's economic milestones to your residents?
Well, we're going to talk about, thanks for having me. We're going to talk about the cut in gas prices that we've seen. We're going to talk about how when people do their taxes next year, they're going to see a whole lot less going to the government because they won't be paying taxes on tips, they won't be paying taxes on overtime, and they won't be paying taxes on Social Security. And we're going to be talking about all the things we have to keep doing to bring costs down. The number one thing that we've achieved is stopping the continued increase in prices that the Biden administration did. They broke it. We still have work to do to bring prices down, but at least they're still not going up like we saw under Joe Biden and the Democrats.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the recent Obamacare fraud making headlines. The Washington Post recently had this headline: Obamacare subsidies make it too easy to scam the system. The Wall Street Journal's headline in an op-ed: what 24 fake applications prove about Obamacare subsidies. And Obamacare is a mecca for fraud. Federal auditors at the Government Accountability Office showed how easy it was to game the system. In fact, the Washington Post reported investigators submitted 24 phony applications for Obamacare subsidies in the past 2 years, and all but one were approved. This was true of applications submitted via healthcare.gov, which accepted fake identification documentation, and insurance brokers, some of which never even asked the auditors to verify their identity. Congressman, how much does this play into whether the GOP will vote to even consider extending those subsidies? I mean, Democrats want to extend fraud?
Well, they do. And let me explain what that means to a regular person. Like, what are we talking about when we talk about fraud? Well, almost half of these Obamacare plans, people don't even know that they have. So someone may have signed you up for Obamacare, and the government is paying the premium directly. All of it. And it could be $10, $20, $30, $40,000 a year. You don't even know you have health insurance. So tens of thousands of dollars are going to insurance companies and you're getting nothing. And that makes it more expensive for everyone. And it's borrowing debt for our kids and grandkids. We're going to stop that. People need to be responsible for their own health insurance. If they make their own decisions, that will be what brings costs down, not subsidizing Obamacare and Democrat fraud.
What do you think about the GOP's plan they're going to put forward today, where they're going to let the subsidies in, but whatever money is there will be given back to those Americans?
Well, I think that's one way to solve the problem, because at least if an individual has the money, then they'll be able to do something about it. The real solution to Obamacare is to bring back people's ability to buy health insurance. what you used to buy, where you said, you know what, I can pay for my own flu shot and my own doctor's visit, but if I get hit by a bus or I get cancer, I need someone to help me. We eliminated that in that country thanks to Barack Obama's lie about if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. Most people that will work for, and it's not very expensive. Your car insurance doesn't include gas fill-ups and oil changes. For most people, they don't need that in their health insurance either.
Florida has designated the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, as foreign terrorist organizations. Governor Greg Abbott in Texas did a similar order last month. What's your thoughts about this?
Well, I was proud to lead this fight. When I was in the Florida legislature last year, we passed a bill in the Florida House to do exactly this. There is no question that CARE is a Muslim terror front group that is trying to undermine our societal institutions by making Americans hate each other and bringing Sharia law to the United States. In Dearborn, Michigan, where they took power, their mayor said Christians were no longer welcome. In Minneapolis, they want the call to prayer at 5 o'clock in the morning. This is a Judeo-Christian nation. There's no room for this crap. And I'm very glad that Governor DeSantis and Governor Abbott are doing what they're doing.
All right, where can folks see your town hall online tonight?
They can go to fine.house.gov. That's my government website. They can watch it live. We're hoping to start between 5:30 and 6:30, depending on votes in the House tonight.
All right, Congressman Randy Fine from the great state of Florida. Thank you for joining us here on the National News Desk.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.